Oh hi. Yeah, it's true. To all those guys who watched last month's video, we're slowly but surely finishing up the only way to play. If you missed that whole thing, oh boy, how awkward that you're finding out about this here. Yeah, you heard me right, son. Today we're talking about Kunkka. And we're going in for the Hang on. What the hell is happening? Why do I feel like I've already said this before? What's going on here? Anyway, you thought the normal way to play Kunkka would be as a typical roaming supporter utility, position 3 sort of hero, or maybe position 5 sort of hero. So if I was to take maybe a video on him, I'd go down the carry route and advocate for rapiers, but nope. The twist is that we're going to do a guide on how to play Kunkka the way that all the pros are already playing him. Wait, I could have sworn I've said this before. Or something kind of like it, but not quite the same. Oh, weird. Deja vu. Yeah, that's right, people. Today on The Only Way to Play, we're doing a Kunkka guide. I like Kunkka. He's one of my favorite heroes for when I just want to sit back, relax, and have a big impact as a support while not stressing too hard about spinning a bunch of plates in my cupboard. What? What the hell did I just say? That didn't make any sense. What the heck is going on? Alright, so the great thing about Kunkka as a position 5 support is how very easily he can transition from support to carry, all with one magical item worn on the arm. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we? To begin with, Kunkka support is an awesome counter to stress, most of all. Yeah, Kunkka is a very simple hero that's easy to get your head around and just let muscle memory carry you through. But stress obviously isn't a true Dota villain, at least not officially, so let's talk specifically about the other heroes that Kunkka counters. The big thing with support Kunkka is his vast assortments of lockdown, most of which can come online strong and early. Obviously the big thing to take into account with the roaming support, which is what we're doing here, of your typical hard carry, is that levels play a big part in your effectiveness as a hero. You can't just assume that you'll be level 10 by minute 10. In fact, it's not too strange to just hit level 2 at minute 5. So for the longest time, you'll have one spell, and one spell only. So the question that you have to ask whenever you're playing a roaming support, does my roaming support have a good level 1 spell? So, does Kunkka have a good level 1 spell? The answer is absolutely yes. With one value point in Torrent, Kunkka can immediately get access to a 1500 range, 1.6 second stun duration ground targeted spell. It's even got a little bit of extra damage, but that's sort of, you just ignore that. It's crazy good, and the benefit it has over the exact same spell level 1 on a carry Kunkka, although in this day and age I can't really imagine why you'd ever play carry Kunkka, is, you can, as roaming Kunkka, cast it from beyond the fog of war. You can start the game and not appear on the enemy's minimap until the exact point after you land a successful torrent. That all but negates the 2-second delay of torrent because the enemy doesn't even know that you're casting it, and so won't be able to dodge it. They won't even know that they should be wanting to dodge it. As a carry Kunkka showing on lane, they'll see it coming, and if you disappear from their vision in order to make it so they don't see it coming, they'll immediately just get suspicious anyway and instinctively duck and weave, because they assume that you're casting it from the shadows. So in this regard, roaming support is actually more powerful than carry Kunkka at level 1. Huh, look at that. Support Kunkka also counters pretty much any and all escape-based laners, especially ones that live and die off of successfully using their escapes. Heroes like Phoenix. But the next biggest thing that Kunkka counters is actually attrition. Kunkka has this awesome ability to just send anyone on his team back to base and refill on bottles or pick up newly bought items. The one thing that beats a team pushing high ground is this war of starvation, where the defenders constantly push back against the attackers, and whenever they get low, they're just a few steps away from the fountain, so they can just go back to refuel. Normally the attackers wouldn't really have that option, but with Kunkka here, oh boy. Now the attackers can. Tell your team to all buy Birds of Travels and just cycle them through. X marks them, have them go back to base, and just let X bring them right back healthier and heavier with items. But on the flip side, because of Kunkka's reliance on magic damage stuns and non-BKB piercing relocation spells, of course the biggest counter to Kunkka is, magic immunity. It's really unfortunate. If only there was a way to make Kunkka deal more physical damage that just sort of ignored BKBs completely, but I don't know. Other counters to Kunkka include heroes who can just out-regen and tank your combos, and honestly just heroes who weren't really planning on running away anyway. There's no point X-marksing that giant tanky husk guy when he was just standing completely still, hurling javelins at you without a care in the world. I've been there, on both sides of that. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the last type of heroes that support Kunkka counters? Goddamn fucking split pushers, goddamn tinkers, goddamn anti-mages. You know the type. all of those heroes that you absolutely hate to play against. With a well-timed X marks the spot into Torrent Ghost Ship, you can lock down pretty much any one of those pesky blinkers. The thing with split pushes is that they actively go against buying BKBs or Lincolns for themselves. Generally, the idea is that BKBs are for team fights, and if a hero is specifically building to split push, they specifically make a mental note to not buy BKB. Because, I mean, BKB is purely defensive. I wouldn't need that. I just need damage to take their racks. If I get BKB, that's money being put somewhere that isn't loads and loads of damage. And so abuse that, right? Abuse that mental thought process. I mean, I mention it in every single one of these videos, it seems, but it's the best place that you can be putting your opponent, because it's a place where both options they have are really bad. Don't let that anti-mage decide between defending his base and losing racks or split pushing and taking your racks, because obviously you'd pick the latter every single time. Make him pick the least worst of multiple terrible options. Make him decide the type of rope that hangs him. Make him choose between skipping out on BKB specifically so he can have more damage to take racks, but also so he can die to your combo every time, or actually going BKB specifically so he can survive your combo, and then not take Rex because he hasn't got any damage. Don't tell the Kunkka players that I'm telling you this, but secretly, if you're a hero who came to this video and are playing against a Kunkka, here's what you do. Skip out on BKB. Instead, get Orchid. Orchid is the exact same thing in that it helps you out of Kunkka's combo, and the great thing is that it does tremendous damage and gives a lot of aggressive stats. And I mean, it's always going to be obvious when you should use it, right? Oh, he hasn't X-marked you? Then don't worry. Oh no, he has? Instantly silence him. It's so easy, you don't even necessarily have to do it instantly. You can take a couple of seconds. I mean, most Kunkkas wait out X a little longer before starting to cast their Torrent and Ghost Ship. The reason for this could be one of two things. If they're new to Kunkka, it's because they're very unconfident with their perceived timings of how long all three of those spells in the combo will last. And if they're a Kunkka expert, it's just because X marks the spot immediately starts ticking off of cooldown the moment you first cast it. So if you waited 3 to 4 seconds between casting it and using your other spells, by the time that those spells are finished up completely, what you'll actually have is yet another X marks the spot to cast. Pretty clever, huh? But basically, here's where I want to talk about items. As a roaming support, money is hard to come by. Like Oliver Twist with his empty bowl, you'll constantly and cautiously be approaching your big, scary, carry teammates, softly asking, more money please. And every single time you do that, you'll be teetering on causing that carry player to run down mid and feed for even daring to ask that question of him. Dota players are weird. Basically my point is that this is something that you'll do very, very few times. So with the pennies that we're going to be collecting over the course of a game, we'll want to be putting them towards the absolute best items. So, to start with, pick up a Smoke, a Clarity, a Tango, and a Windlace, or whatever else you can afford, couriers and wards if you like. These are the ingredients needed to craft a perfect early game. With one Clarity, you have access to a half dozen torrents. If you're landing them, that's a half dozen kills. The Windlace helps you get from kill to kill faster. We then build boots into tranks to do what Windlace does, but even faster. And then we get one of three things. Earn, to make those half dozen kills into more than a half dozen earned charges. Ether Lens, in order to do our job of snagging enemies with stuns from even further away, which also explains itself pretty well. And finally, Armlet. Whoa! Oh! Oh, whoa. Oh my god. I'm enlightened. The information that just came, it just came flooding back to me. All of this time, it turns out that there has been another Eric Wright from a parallel universe talking about playing carry Kunkka, while I've been here explaining supporty roaming Kunkka. And the one overlap that both builds have is that damn armlet. Wow. So I guess that probably means it's pretty important. So yeah. I guess pick it up. Bye!